The Springfield City Council is considering a single-use plastic bag ban. Under the ban, stores would be required to provide recyclable paper bags, a marine-degradable plastic bag, or a reusable bag for their customers. But before they vote, they'd like to hear from the public. Carolee McGrath sat down with Springfield City Councilor Lederman to learn more.
So this is a proposal that first came to the City Council several years ago, and it came out of our Green Committee, which was an ad hoc group of residents who were appointed by the City Council President to advise councilors on efforts that we can move in the City of Springfield to become more sustainable. So it was introduced for discussion in those years. It didn't come to the floor for a vote, and this year, or just at the end of last year, the Green Committee asked us to consider it again. And so I introduced it, and we've been now holding committee meetings and discussing with residents and businesses about the proposal.
Okay, so you just delayed a vote. Just give us a little update as to why that happened.
Sure. So the ordinance passed first step a couple of weeks ago, which I think signals some support from the City Council for it. But all ordinances are required to pass through a number of steps, and the important of that process is to make sure that the ordinances come out in the best possible way. So at the council meeting on Monday, we had about an hour and a half of debate on the ordinance, and we welcome that dialogue. I think that's what makes legislation stronger. And at the end, what we really came to the conclusion was we wanted a little bit more public input, both from residents and from the business community. So we will be putting together a public meeting where we will be presenting some of the information as to why something like this is being considered in the City of Springfield, and then also getting some feedback from residents and businesses about how they feel about it, but also about if it is implemented, how we can make sure it has the least possible impact on the day-to-day lives.
I think the convenience factor is something that you're going to get pushed back on. So you go into the store, let's say it's Walmart, and you have all of these groceries in your cart, and now you're lugging around paper bags. That could be annoying for people. How do you respond?
So certainly, probably one of the few arguments against it is the convenience factor. And I think what we have to do is take a step back and consider the broader impact. So when we look at the full life cycle of these single-use plastic bags, first, the production of them. They're a fossil fuel-based material, so that means the production of them leads to emissions and pollutions. Then we are able to get them. We use them for an average length of about 12 to 15 minutes, according to most studies. And then the vast majority of them, to the tune of tens of millions in the City of Springfield alone, just get thrown away. So they end up in incinerators, they end up in landfills, and they also end up littering our streets and getting into our waterways. By the year 2050, the World Economic Forum in one study predicted there will be more plastic pound for pound than fish in the ocean. And that has an impact on public health as well, because what we're also seeing is studies that are showing microplastics from these plastic bags and other plastic pollution showing up in the fish that we eat, also showing up in water sources across the United States and around the world. So when we take a step back and consider the fact that while we may have to find some more solutions around getting our groceries home or getting our products home, there are alternatives, and this is a step that we can take that, if we do it collectively, has a big impact for our environment and for our future.
But I think you just mentioned the word collectively. A lot of people might say, well, okay, so if Springfield passes this ban, I know that there's about 70 or maybe more in Massachusetts that have done the same thing. What impact is it really going to make? And not to downplay the convenience factor for people who might be aggravated, and you might hear that, at the public hearing as well. Like, is this really going to matter?
I think that's a really important question. So much of what we consider at the City Council is hyper-local and focused on improving the quality of life of residents of the City of Springfield. Myself, over my 14 months on the council, I've been very focused on neighborhood quality of life issues, focused on bringing new funding for innovative programs around public safety, working on improving community police relationships, working on ensuring that when public tax dollars are used for projects, that those jobs go to local residents here in the City of Springfield. So certainly the council is focused on a great many things. This is one of those things where we have an opportunity to act locally, but have an influence that goes beyond the City of Springfield. As you mentioned, it's true. Actually, over 90 towns and cities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts have now implemented some form of a plastic bag reduction ordinance, and including cities like Boston, which obviously the largest city in Massachusetts, also cities like Lowell, Somerville. These are good-sized communities that have similar amounts of stores and retailers, as well as similar demographics to the city of Springfield. But what's important to note is also across the United States, 400 cities and towns have started to implement these. And as we see more cities and towns implementing them, I think we will also see other solutions and other materials come to the market that might have a less of an environmental impact than the single-use plastic.
Let's go back to Boston for a second, because the Boston Convenience Store Association came out when that had passed with some pretty big concerns about cost, especially passing on those costs to consumers who might be on a fixed income. What's your response to that?
Well, so I've had an opportunity to talk with folks in Boston, including some of the city councils that worked on the ordinance. Members of our business community have had an opportunity to talk with members of the business community in Boston. And what we attempted to do in our ordinance was both follow some of the best practices that got established in the Boston ordinance and also learn from some of the things that they saw in Boston. So, for example, we carve out some specific exemptions in our ordinance to try to ensure that we are still having an impact, but that we are being reasonable in our process of doing so. For example, we exempt pharmacy bags so that when folks are getting their medication, there's no increase in cost there. And certainly in terms of the increased cost, let's talk about that for a minute. So plastic bags, though some stores may give them away for free, are not free. They do have a cost to them. The stores cover them. The average supermarket probably spends around $1,000 a week on these bags, according to some studies. That cost gets passed on to the consumer in terms of the cost of the products that they buy. But if you look at many of the stores where people are doing their grocery shopping, many have already phased out the use of these thin, single-use plastic bags, and in fact, many years ago, started charging for thicker, reusable bags.
So then why does the Springfield City Council have to get involved? Why not just let the marketplace handle this? There are many stores, Whole Foods I think is one of them, that has done exactly this. Why does the government have to be involved?
And another store that's done that also is Big Y, which is one of our largest grocery retailers and is phasing out the use. But I also think that when we look at the amount of waste that is still going into the waste stream in terms of this single-use plastic and the indicators that we're seeing nationwide and around the world, that we should move it along. There was a time when folks poured motor oil down sewage drains in the street. There was a time when folks smoked cigarettes in restaurants. But we moved away from that and passed regulations around that, in many cases at the local level, as a matter of fact, right here in the city of Springfield, at a faster rate than they might have at the state level or the federal level, because we recognized that we needed to make a change.